So stick with me here. I recently finished the book Iceberg Slim, or rather Pimp by Iceberg Slim. Now, it's a book, it's a memoir written by an actual pimp in the 1940s, and it's written to discourage other folks from thinking that that was a glamorous lifestyle. Iceberg Slim, or rather his real name, Robert Beck, wrote how he had mistreated women, how he got into drug use, how he spent all this time in prison. And as crazy as it sounds, this book is an absolute masterclass in storytelling, mentorship, but in this case, mindset. As strange as it sounds, one of the book quotes that stood out so much to me was when he initially went to prison and he was in the cell with an ex-old con. And the ex-old con told him exactly this, and I'm going to read you the quote. He said that he was the first to attempt to teach me to control my emotions. He would say, always remember, whether you be a sucker or a hustler out there, and yes, I know that sounds goofy when I read it, you've got to have that vital edge to ironclad your feelings. I picture the human mind as a movie screen. Whether you're if you're a dopey sucker, you'll sit around and watch all kinds of mind-wrecking fool movies on that screen. He said, there's no reason except for a stupid one for anybody to project anything on that screen that will worry him or dull that vital edge. After all, we're the absolute bosses of that whole theater of our minds. We even write the script. So always write positive, dynamic scripts and only show the best movies for you on that screen, whether you are a pimp or a priest. And then he goes on to say his rundown of that theory saved his sanity many years later. And Iceberg Slim ended up in prison off and on and in solitary confinement. And he would always replay what he was going to do when he got out, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad, and eventually to get out of that type of lifestyle altogether. What does this mean for us as a small business owner or a busy professional or somebody that just wants to start a movie? I catch myself doing this all of the time. If I'll have a run in with a customer, or I say a customer, I'm pretty good with my customers. Let's say a vendor or a tech thing that doesn't work, or gosh, something as simple as a family member. We immediately go into movie mode. We're the hero and they're the villain. We're the protagonist and they're the antagonist. And now we've got to go on this hero's journey. And if they say this, then I'll reply with this. And if they do that, well, then I'll go do this. And we'll replay a scenario until we don't like it, and then we'll replay another scenario, and then we'll stop the movie for a while, go about our day, and then it'll creep back up in our mind, and we'll go through that same scenario we went through already this morning. We'll rewatch it and rewatch it, and in most cases, it's not a good movie. So what do we do instead? As you see that movie start in your mind, take it from a horror movie or a sad little drama over into something fun, a comedy, an action. If they say this, don't get defensive. Don't do anything bad. How can you fix the problem? How can you play it in your mind to where it has a positive solution, even if it might not be that way in real life? And that's not to hide from the issues or to run from it, but that's just to, give yourself a chance to watch a more positive movie instead of a negative one. That takes a toll on your mind over and over. According to the National Science Foundation, and I know you guys have seen this stat, 80% of the thoughts that go through our head are negative. And then 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. And there's all types of stats over how many thoughts we have going through our head, tens of thousands. Almost all are negative and they're being played over and over. And we have a total choice if we get to fix that. So you can decide, would you rather watch Beverly Hills Chihuahua Part 2 or The Godfather? Would you rather watch Weekend at Bernie's Part 2? Not the first one, that's great. Or would you rather watch, Casablanca, which I've never watched? Replaying these movies in your mind is a total choice and it's up to you, and you have to catch it when it gets started so it doesn't get out of control. That way you can continue to grow your business or to be more productive or to just be happy. And if you need a good book recommendation, don't knock it until you listen to it. And I say listen to it because the narration is awesome. Pimp by Iceberg Slim.